All right, cool. I wanted to just make a very quick video on how to actually use Chat GPT and AI to write your cold emails or to help with cold email, right? So a lot of people think that using AI for cold emails is about writing like a personalized first line, and it can be. But normally, 9 times out of 10, it's not very good. The best thing that you can use AI for, in my experience so far, is actually for research. So to take on the persona of your ideal customer, right? Or for researching and understanding, how your persona thinks, like what different angles you can take with your emails in terms of like what the copy, what your offer should be, what the pain point should be, everything like that, right? So this is like a specific conversation that I had with GPT. It's only 3.5 as well, so you can use it in the free version. It doesn't really matter because you just want like the basic points. You don't want it. It doesn't need to do like crazy, analyzing or anything like that. So what you want to do here is you basically tell it to act like your ideal customer profile, depending on what that is. So in this case, this was for a client who, they're looking for startups between this sort of numbers of staff in the software space. And this is kind of like the basic kind of like profile for the ideal customer. And then here's like context of what we offer. So you can kind of give it as much context as possible, right? Because that's super important. And then the next thing, you want to run through maybe some of the basic challenges and pain points. So a lot of times, if you have a client, the client will fill out like an onboarding survey, and this is what we do for our agency. And in that onboarding survey, they'll name a couple of like pain points and things like that. You don't necessarily need this part because you can actually ask it about what the pain points are. But in this case, the client would have filled that out. So then, based on those things, we ask it, based on this information, can you give me some examples of the following? And what we're going to do here is we create a table, right? And this table, I like to call it like the ICP matrix, basically, which is an ideal customer profile. And then like the matrix in terms of, as you can see here, I might as well just show it to you. So you've got their personal goals, what some of the challenges are that they might face, what the impact of those challenges are. So for example, either challenges like you struggle to get more leads, and the impact of that is that you have reduced revenue or your business doesn't grow, right? So because of challenge, you hit impact. And then you can also touch on the trigger as well. So that will help you in terms of doing research as far as like, okay, cool. What kind of trigger can I actually look for in online? And again, you can use AI and you can use tools like Clay to actually do a lot of that research for you. Just basically think, what would I do manually? And then how can I work backwards from that to use AI to be able to do that? So the trigger, what kind of triggers would you find? And then what could be a potential solution, right? So then this solution can fit in with like your lead magnet. So if you've got a challenge over here and then this is the impact, this is the trigger is going to act as the observation line of the email. So whatever the trigger is, so for example, let's take this as an example, right? Actually, I'm going to show you the second table because I wrote it out because it didn't quite have, the triggers need to be publicly available information, right? So they need to be that just because that's the information that you need to find online to be able to actually use for your observation or for your first line in your emails, right? It's no good having a trigger about anything that you can't find online because you can't reference that. You have no way of finding that data or information. So here is the table. So basically their challenge in this case would be to like hire and retain top talent. That's what they're struggling with. And then I'll give you a bit more detail around that. So they're struggling to identify candidates. The impact of this is, recruitment costs, productivity loss, things like that. And then how do you know when to reach out? I know it sounds very obvious, but there's more examples here. But it would be something as simple as job vacancies or job posts, right? So then you could write your email as, hey, saw that you were hiring for X. I know that when you're hiring for X, you might struggle with X and Y, or you might struggle with Y. This normally happens if Y doesn't happen. Here's a lead magnet that we created as your solution. Would you like us to send it across, right? So it's kind of like a flow of this. What this does, what this table does is give you angles. It gives you angles on how to actually approach these different businesses. So instead of thinking like what angle could do, you're basically basing the angle on the challenge that they have or the pain point that they have. So if they have pain point A, you're going to offer them lead magnet A, but they might then, if you want to test the second variation of the copy, they might have pain point B, and then you test lead magnet B, right, as an example. So those are just a couple of different examples of how you might use this, but basically what this is going to allow you to do is just to test different angles and to see what actually works, what doesn't work, and basically base everything around what the actual pain points are, and just to stimulate and generate ideas that you might have to be able to then use as part of your email campaigns, right? And this is by no means like an exhaustive list. It will give you some ideas. Some might not work. Obviously, it's ChatGPT, so just bear that in mind. But others might work, and it might give you ideas in terms of how you can actually approach your emails. And then again, each one of these could be an email angle. So this is like one angle in terms of like they're struggling to retain to retain. They're looking to hire, but they're struggling to retain, or they might be struggling to retain. We made this thing that might help you with that, right? Or the second one is communication and values and culture types of things, right? Lack of employee engagement. So you could look on Glassdoor and notice they've got lots of negative reviews. Saw on Glassdoor you had X, Y, Z. This usually means this. Here's the impact of it. We've made you a thing that might help this, right? So you see how each individual one is giving you like a different segue into a completely different angle for your email. And what you want to do is you want to test all of these things out because you want to see which one actually works and works best. So yeah, I just wanted to give you this this whole thing. So you can use it for free to like structure it. But basically the point is tell GPT to act as your ideal customer. I don't know what's stuck in my throat. Sorry about that. But tell GPT to act as your ideal customer. And then from there, basically ask it to put the information in table form of the most important things are what are the challenges, what's the impact of that challenge, what triggers that challenge, or what triggers could you look out for, and then what's the solution. And then all of those things will make up like the different lines of your email. So trigger is observation, challenge is the second line, impact is the third line, and then solution is the lead magnet CTA. And then that's what will base your email off of. Now, that's if you're following that email framework. If you're not, if you're doing just a one line, you could just quite literally start with trigger plus solution, or like lead magnet CTA basically. So yeah, hopefully that's been useful. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you need W email services, then you can click the link below to book in a call with myself, and we can chat about it and see how we can help out. Prices start at $500 a month. Just FYI, we're looking for marketing agencies that already have clients. They have case studies, they have testimonials, they have at least 3, and they're at least doing 10,000 a month. If you're not doing that, then continue watching the videos, get as much help as you can, get to that place, and then we can help you out. But yeah, thanks, and see you in the next one. Peace.